pretty, isn't it? Even though it's dead dry out here, fall is here. In today's video, it's not often a YouTuber comes on and says, watch somebody else's video. That's what I'm going to do. And then after that, I'll explain that here in a second. And then after that, I'm just going to pop around and just give you guys some updates. I got a lot going on here at the farm property between the building, concrete pour, everything we got going on. So I'll pop around. So just stick around. After I talk about Jeff's video, which is absolutely great, then I'll go ahead and I'll just pop around and show you some weird stuff. So hope you like it. The girls are waiting for me to feed them. So there aren't many YouTube videos that you watch where the person creating the video says, go watch someone else's video. And that's really what this video is about. I found a video that I watched I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos since Hurricane Helene. And I think one of the best videos that really touches base, that's a personal, from the heart video, where this person who has a wife and 6 kids, I believe, goes through step by step and gives you tips, things that you need to prepare for, things that they encountered. It's absolutely fantastic. He was without power for 12 days, internet for 14 days, but it really does ring true. With the series that we're doing, which I'm going to put on Savage Prepping, you can just type in @Savage Prepping at YouTube. I'll post the videos there, plus on my channel. Everything that he starts to go over in that is exactly what I've been saying. I started off in the first video with about food, making sure you have food, making sure you have a way to cook, making sure you have heat sources. We're talking about lighters, we're talking about cash. Everything that he starts talking about is exactly what we're talking about. So many people, now I messaged Jeff and had him contact me, and we chatted a bit, exchanged emails, and he said, I just hope that the general public and people will start to be prepared better than they are. And I said, I agree 100%. 95% of our population in the United States has no preparedness. I mean, they really don't. They have no preparedness plan for anything longer than 24 hours. If you tell someone everything's shut off, your cell phone, your power, your internet for 7 days, dude, there aren't a lot of people that can do that on a widespread scale. The one thing that he did bring up, which was a great point, I thought, was laundry. He's got a wife, got 6 kids, they got to do laundry, and like the clothes wringer, he had a clothes wringer, and he shows how they're doing laundry without electricity. That was real interesting. But one of my big points, one of my next videos coming out, is going to be on generators. And I think people overbuy generators, and he made that point specifically in it. If you don't understand fuel consumption and how much gas you have to have on hand, it's incredible. So anyways, let me go cut this video up, and I'll drop in and pop in some comments. But if you don't mind, go over to Jeff's channel, watch that video, drop a comment, say, hey, Doc told me to watch it, and subscribe to his channel. Great guy, great family. He keeps talking about helping others in the community too. It's so important. So let me go let these girls out real quick. So I'm up here at the barn, and there's an acronym we use in the military called PACE, which is primary, alternate, contingency, and emergency. So you have level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. Again, 95% of the country doesn't even have the P. They don't have a primary backup system. Today, my electricians are coming, and I have a meter down at the house and a panel. I also have a meter and panel up here at the barn. So today my electricians are coming, and I'm going to have them install a generator plug up here too. Why is that? It's because within here I have a backup well that we installed this year to the primary well. That's our alternate well. And if I ever need it, I actually had it tied into our main plumbing system down at the house. So again, I have a primary well, I have an alternate well. My contingency well is actually the shallow well that used to serve the house, which is really not, I don't consider drinkable water, potable water. And my emergency is the pond. I have a spring-fed pond. P-A-C-E, PACE. This is the interlock switch. It's kind of hard to see, but that's the interlock switch we'll be putting on here. So you have to shut off the main before you can engage the generator on it. And we're pulling out a bunch of old wires here that we do not need anymore. Now, on a side note, on this preparation series we're going to do, I got all kinds of subjects, but one subject that I really want you guys to watch, make sure you're subscribed, is the communications and information section. because I have got something groundbreaking for 2025. Some of you guys already know about it, but let me tell you what, you do not want to miss that. We're going to talk about ham radios, GMRS radios. We're going to talk about all kinds of stuff. We're going to talk about should you get it, should you not, is it a waste of time? But also, take a look at this field. This field, believe it or not, let me find one. I prefer the turnips, but this is all edible. This is all turnip and radish greens. So, make up your meal, get yourself a green, pull up a turnip, pull up radish. In a long-term emergency, this is what we'll talk about. This is the level kind of 4 we're talking about. I always have long-term storage seeds in my refrigerator. I have, for this garden, I have 3 years worth of seeds, 3 years of plantings. I always keep purple top turnip seed in a shrink wrapped, what do you call it, vacuum sealed inside my refrigerator. You can throw turnip out in your backyard. You can throw it anywhere you want. And all of a sudden, in a few weeks, you'll be picking greens and have a good source of greens. This is one thing that a lot of people miss, fresh stuff. And then in the wintertime, we come out here, there are turnips the size of softballs out here. And turnips, when you cook them, are delicious. You can do all kinds of stuff with this. That's just a little side note. Sorry, I got sidetracked. This is kind of a full circle of life. We work our butts off planting the fields. That pump out there is watering the fields. Feed stations. We manage the game here. We take care of all the does and all the babies. We only harvest bucks here. And we eat the deer. So it's a full circle of life. Now, if I wanted to, I could go up. And these food plots up here, we plant a lot of purple top turnip and radish. And you go up there while it's young and you just pick it off and you have yourself a great salad. It's delicious. Instead of having the expense, time, and care of livestock, of cows, goats, pigs, we actually manage our deer that way. So that's why we have the deer. Now we have chickens that we can get eggs from. I guess we could eat the chickens, but we can get 5 to 10 dozen eggs. All of our fields are edible. Plus we have a 7,000 square foot vegetable garden. In the first year that produced 2,500 pounds of produce. You know, it's funny, in life, we try and make the best plans that we can, but trust me, a lot of stuff goes wrong. I really kind of want you to think about this PACE strategy. In other words, make your initial plans and have your primary backup. Then what happens if that fails? That's what we'll be talking about. We'll be talking about redundancy. We'll be talking about not just one type of system, but what's your backup plan to that. It is a good thing to have. I will stop fighting. One tip that I will give you is if you ever lose power, one of my rules is nobody uses hot water when the power goes out. Why is that? That's because a hot water heater will hold hot water for well over 24 hours. I'll give you an example. Our power went out at the beach and it went out that evening. For 24 hours, the next day we didn't take showers. And wife was like, how come we can't use hot water? I said, trust me. The next morning we got up and we said, okay, now we can each take a hot shower. So this was a full day and a half after the power went out and we both had a hot shower. And let me tell you what, there's nothing like a hot shower when you're stuck somewhere. So I got a funny story for you. We're talking about PACE, P-A-C-E, primary, alternate, contingency, emergency. All right, girls, you're gonna have to move. You gotta move, girls. And in my chicken house, I have a real nice metal door, gear driven, that closes every night at 8 o'clock. Well, what happens if I have a power outage? So I put a small APC battery backup right up in here. Not many people have a battery backup system on their chicken house, although they do have batteries. So I came up here. Oh, you guys are driving me crazy. So I heard this thing beeping and I was like, man, I don't have any power. So I came over here. I called what's his name? Kirk. It just left. And I said, I don't have any power. And all this, he said, well, I'll run back by there. And then I got thinking, I got my meter out, tested that. I said, let me check the main. He never turned the main back on because we were playing with this interlock switch. Down at the house, I have a gas generator and I have a massive backup battery system over in the cabin that backfeeds to the house. I have a whole house generator plug down there, but now because I have a separate box up here that controls a bunch of stuff, now I also have right here, I also have a generator plug. I have an interlock, so I have to kill this before I can throw this switch over. It won't let me throw that over. And that's properly done to code. I did forget to mention something, and that is in an upcoming generator video, the generator video that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be showing you all different levels of generators. Everything from a real small one, which is awesome, all the way up to a whole house system. But I'm going to show you how to measure exactly when you want to figure out what appliances, how many watts your appliances are using. Like how many watts does your refrigerator use? I guess you could look at the label and try and figure it out, or maybe go to a chart. I'm going to show you how to figure out exactly how every single appliance in your house, how many watts, and so you can figure out what size generator you need. So here's a good little tip. I stole this from somewhere. I think I saw it on a Facebook reel or something like that. I don't know what it was. Get a half a water bottle, fill it up with water, let it freeze, and then put like a penny on top. And what that does, if you put that in your freezer, if your freezer ever loses power and defrosts, that penny will actually sink. And you'll sort of know, did it totally defrost? Did I get a little defrost? And that's a good way, because how do you know if your freezer, how do you know if you're away and your freezer dies for 2 or 3 days, your power, and you come back and you're like, oh my God. So that's a good little trick. Again, fill it with water, freeze it, then put a penny on top or dime or whatever, and then put it in your freezer. If it ever defrosts, that will sink to the bottom and you'll know. Got it? Good little tip. Trust me, this relates to something. There was a comment and someone said, I was talking about EMP Shield, and if you don't have an EMP Shield on your house, go and watch the lightning video that I put up. It's on our channel. I think it's on both channels. Get an EMP Shield, put it on your house. There's a link over there. Use the code DOCDOC, save $50. I've got it on the house. I've got one on my cabin. I've got one on my UTV, and I've got one on my vehicle. Get one, have it installed. But someone made a comment, obviously people that don't know much, said the only thing that can protect you from an EMP is a Faraday cage. Not true. EMP Shield has completely surpassed all the military testing for this, by the way. Anyways, if you're worried about EMPs. So I'm going to show you something here real quick. First of all, there's my firewood. That's almost 2 cords. That's in Georgia. That's about enough for a couple of years, but I did get some hickory. I think this is actually a piece of hickory right here too. But what I built for you guys, I did this about 3 months ago. I built one of the largest Faraday cages I have ever seen on YouTube. This is actually a walk-in Faraday cage. This is copper screening here, completely enclosed. You can put any radio inside of here that you want and it kills the signal instantly. It has to be a continuous screening. But anyways, I'll do that in an upcoming video because we'll talk about, is it worth having a Faraday bags and that kind of stuff, which everyone talks about. Anyways, guys, I hope you go watch Jeff's video. Go over to his channel, subscribe, tell him Doc sent you. And I think that's about it. New videos coming out. Hold on, here we go.